Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are right now, tuning in to Fort Wayne on the Move with Councilwoman Michelle Chambers. I am super excited to have the conversation that we're going to have today. We're going to talk about the Anchor Resource Center. Some of you are like, well, what is that? Well, I have two amazing individuals here who are going to tell us all about the Anchor Resource Center. Ladies, welcome, or I should say, Patti, thank you for hosting us today here at WindSwell. It's such a beautiful building. Thank you for having us today. So today we have Patti, who is our CEO of WindSwell Foundation.
Correct.
And we have Meg Distler, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. And you wear two hats, Anchor Resource Center, retired executive for the director of St. Joseph Community Health Foundation. Yes. Welcome, both of you. So, as you know, because you're intimately involved in the Anchor Resource Center, what is the Anchor Resource Center?
The Anchor Resource Center is a solution for a gap in the services that we're providing or that are needed for the homeless individuals in Fort Wayne. So the Resource Center the vision is to be downtown Fort Wayne, where we have a large concentration of individuals in need of housing, who are homeless, who need help accessing resources to get to housing.
Yes. You know, Meg, that's a wonderful description of what the Anchor Resource Center is. But for some reason, unfortunately, this has become a very political topic. And I believe we all several people support the concept and the need of it's a low barrier shelter, right? Mm-hmm. And so we've heard a lot about it in the political world. Tell me about both of you stepping up to help make this happen. Patti, what has been your role thus far in helping this Anchor Resource Center come forward?
The concept was the city's willingness to cover some of the design as created, but the operating dollars, putting that in place. All of us work towards funding organizations that can move towards self-sufficiency. But there needs to be a few years of being sure there's operating dollars available. Amanda and Kelly came and talked with us. They are
Amanda and Kelly, their city staff.
City staff. Mm-hmm. And the passion that they had for ensuring the quality services that they envisioned were evident, but how to do that fundraising, philanthropy in this town is very generous, and we already fund the impact of those who have insecure housing, whether it is providing for food, shelter, healthcare needs. The result of unhoused is something philanthropy has been paying for years. The idea of moving upstream was intriguing. So it was just stepping forward and saying, instead of you going around and talking one at each foundation, let's come together and have everybody hear the same thing and talk about what role is philanthropy playing in the vision that Meg just described. So it was just convening a group of people that care about providing quality, whether it is economic development benefits because of it, a quality workforce, child health, managing mental illness. We all have an intersect with the population that's going to be served.
What I think is critically important about what you just stated is that you all came together, meaning other foundations have come together and made a commitment to help fund the operational side of the Anchor Resource Centers for up to 3 years.
Right.
Is this the first time that foundations have all come together on a subject matter?
You know, we did a really good job during COVID.
Okay.
Because, again, it was an issue where it impacted our community. Mm-hmm. And this was the same situation.
Yeah. So we're very fortunate in Fort Wayne that we do have a very giving community. I love the fact that you all are being so intentional, besides identifying the building, But the thought that has gone behind making sure that for at least 3 years it's funded operationally. So I think that's critically important for our viewing audience to understand that this is not necessarily another department for the city of Fort Wayne. It will be ran by, and we'll talk about, Meg, your role right now. Tell us about how the Anchor Resource Center will be staffed. We have resources, a commitment from our foundations. Let's talk about the staffing. What has been your role?
Not as much in staffing, because I chair the board, and we have not hired any staff yet.
But the vision.
The vision for the staffing will be really a combination of actual employees of this nonprofit, of the Anchor nonprofit. There will be case managers, there will be people trained who are used to working in social services with people who lack any resources. But I think an important thing to say is that also co-located in that center or working out of it, really in partnership, we will have security in like the police department. We have social service agencies like Catholic Charities will staff somebody in that office at certain hours. So it is a combination of not just new employees, but it's bringing together people in one location. Because when you think about the homeless, many people who are homeless downtown do not own vehicles. They don't have money to drive across town to get a specific service. They need it in one location. So bringing in different groups to partner with us. And Amanda Fall, our housing manager, has done a great job of really starting to already build relationships with many of the service providers. I mean, we're really fortunate in this community that we have a lot of people providing different pieces of the services that the homeless need. And so having some of those co-located easily in one location is a game changer for people to get on that pathway. When you're living out of a baggie, a big black trash bag with all of your possessions, you can't charge your phone, you can't pick up your mail easily, you can't have that change of clothes that have been washed, you can't get a copy that you need to apply even if you have the job, because a lot of people are actually working and living out of different cars, tents in different places. They need a place where they can make a copy, get an email, plug into electricity, use a shower, use a bathroom, and some of those things we take for granted get out of extreme weather. So they're getting on their housing pathway.
And safely store my possessions.
Yes,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Even more important than the employees, what I'd like to talk about are some of the things that are attributes in the center. As Patti said, when you're living out of a bag because you've lost everything, and I mean a trash bag, a big old plastic bag or a suitcase or something, to be able to lock it while you go to work, that's huge. If you need a place to get mail, a post office box, to be able to have that is maybe critical to get your Social Security benefits that you haven't had a permanent address to get. That will be housed there. Let's say you are on medication and you need a place to lock it safely that's temperature controlled. You have a place to lock your medications that's safe. There are, let's say you need to use a shower, and you can go in and shower, washing machines, dryers. So while you are saving your money, and unfortunately, 15 to 25%, we don't have an actual number, people live in their cars. You need still a place to shower and to do those basic hygiene things while you're saving the money to get that security deposit to get into an apartment.
Meg, you have really shared the various services, and it's in the name, the Anchor Resource Center. You all, the team, have come up with a concept where you are creating an environment for people to breathe and go, I can bathe. Oh, I have somewhere to get my mail. oh, there's wraparound service agencies here. I don't have to worry about getting across town at 9 o'clock to take that intake appointment. Oh, I need to see the doctor. My blood pressure is a little up. This is why I really am excited about the Anchor Resource Center, because of the literally wraparound services that will be provided to those that are unhoused. We just don't have this model right now in Fort Wayne.
Recognizing the dignity,
The empathy
of that
important.
person.
Yes, that is critically, that's the first thing in my experience when we're working with individuals that are unfortunately unhoused, when someone actually sees them and meets them where they're at and chips away at all those things that are holding them back. So I'm just very excited about all of the services. The fact that you can shower, if you are living in your car, you can be on a safe campus and stay in your car and come in, and an environment to talk to others. We have this heat wave going on right now. You can go sit inside in a cool building. It's a wonderful thing, the various services that are going to be provided at ARC. So when we're thinking about this impact, how can we, let's say, minimize the impact or maybe increase the impact that the ARC will have? Because there has been some concern about servicing the unhoused downtown. And you've given some great examples about having the resources right there. But when you think about it, Patti, what do you think the greatest impact will be for our unhoused that are going to have the opportunity to take advantage of the ARC?
As our vision in why we fund is avoiding that chronic homelessness, that in this period of time, how many people will have an opportunity for acute intervention because of the resources that are there. And because managing chronic homelessness is a different set of problems. That with 3 years of funding, we should be able to see very clear outcomes. There are benefits for keeping track of people. They stay there, they don't leave, and then all of a sudden a space comes up at the VA shelter, and we are trying to track down that person that stopped in 6 months ago or whatever. There's reason for them to stay here. We can get that intervention, avoiding all the complex problems that come with chronic homelessness. The cost with acute intervention is considerably less than the cost with chronic homelessness.
So having a 3-year plan, funding in place already, that's almost rare for most nonprofits that are just getting started, right? So whomever will be the executive director can really come in and build out a program. Of course, they're going to have to work towards raising money because it's not a city department, but it's the purchasing of the building is coming from city dollars.
But with 3 years,
with self-sufficient,
right? We can see then outcomes that will result in state and federal funding.
You took the words right.
There is a very clear path.
Yes.
And that's, I think, what resonated with philanthropy wanting to step up and say, let's come alongside. We're not funding something new, we're funding something that is a bridge to self-sufficiency. Sorry, I jumped in on you there.
No,
I'm
it's
excited.
fine. I'm excited as well. We're thinking alike. You know, Meg, you're a long-term community leader here, and you have a lot of experience to bring to the table. You have a lot of experience to bring to the table, and you've taken on a community leadership role in this process. And you're not a city staff person. Can you explain how that is going to work, especially for those watching who may not have experience in the nonprofit world?
All right, I am a volunteer doing this, and I'm doing this because I think it's important. It's very important. In the last 3 decades, when I was heading up the St. Joe Foundation, I've had the opportunity to be on the ground floor of numerous nonprofits that were infrastructure pieces, I would say, that make sure the vulnerable in our community get through the comprehensive work, as Patti has talked about, and get on to productive, thriving lifestyles. Have been involved with the A Mother's Hope, which is another, basically for homeless pregnant women, and that's doing great. It's expanding to a second program. was very involved with Healthier Moms and Babies, wrote the first grant, which is now seeing a couple thousand pregnant women, high risk in this community, helping them and babies have a good start. It's really important, the startup, that you build a good model, that it's self-sustaining financially, which is why this gift from the foundations is so amazing. And that, I think that's a big part of it. And so I've had the opportunity, a ringside seat, to work alongside of many talented people in the community, and a lot of them are reaching out and want to be a part of it. And I think that's really exciting. I share that.
Yes, you took the words out of my mouth. Our viewing audience, our constituents, they should find peace in knowing that volunteer executive from the trustee, you, Patti, and several other individuals are volunteering. This is not a paid opportunity. All of this talent to make sure that the ARC is successful. That's just a great added value to getting the doors open.
You know, one of the things I would love to share with you, or there's 2 points that I kind of hear a lot that I would like to say, is that everybody has this vision of a homeless person. I'm old enough, it's like the old Mayberry, the drunk who just lived on the street. What people don't understand is that 90% of the people who become homeless, it's a financial issue. And we have a very high rate of eviction in Indiana and in Allen County. Unfortunately, nothing we can be proud of that. But in the last year, we had 30 people die of homelessness in Allen County. We had 2 families with babies coming out of the neonatal intensive care unit, 2 different hospitals, released into the emergency winter shelter. These are families, that was with 2 parents, but all the money went into medical. If we can get these people early on, these are families, it could be me, who need to go to a place where there is a case manager who can help them get that paperwork, get everything filled out, can be found where the openings are and matched up. These are regular people who run short on money, and typically the amount of money is $1,500 is what starts it. After 6 weeks, it goes to the chronic homelessness.
Yeah. So I don't, we understand the need in the population, but I don't want it to be lost that we have a strong team that's helping ARC open.
Thank you.
So I just want to make sure, you know, I know the passion and we know the why, but I want our constituents to understand that this is a well thought out plan. This is leadership that have been being leaders in public service for a long time. So we should be happy in knowing that it's well thought out and they're going to be great services. Now, we've talked about the various services that are going to happen at ARC, right? So those services, how will they be complementary to the existing shelters that we have? How will they complement the shelters that we do have, the various shelters?
I'm sorry, my mind was still back on the point of the good people who are sitting at the table around the table. I would love to speak to that. You know, there are a lot of people who are already at the board table. There are others that we are in conversation with that we can't say. That all of them get me excited to work with because I learn from them and they're great at working with nonprofits. You know, I have the privilege of chairing it, but vice chairing the board is Austin Knox. And when you have a township trustee, they understand the funding streams, the issues. He sees the trends and the patterns very clearly. What a gift to have him. We also have in there Aaron Ness. Aaron helped start St. Joseph's Mission, understands in the last 5 years what it takes to start a shelter where their services begin and end. She's on the board. She's bringing in great insights. And then we have Amanda Falls, who has been with us, done all of the research for the last 2 years on the front side. Incredible expertise that we would be going to another city to get somebody like her who's done the personal interviews, guiding a lot of the conversation. We are in conversation with other people who have been recommended. Not at point to say to them, but we have lived experience, we have financial expertise, we have security expertise, people who know this issue, and that's exciting to see people leaning in.
Very, very exciting that we are all taking a vested interest. because being unhoused, it affects everyone. It's not just the person who is unhoused, it's the entire community. And what I'll add to that thought is this: we are not unique in our unhoused crisis. It is a nationwide unhoused crisis. Everyone's trying to figure it out. And to have this strong team of individuals that are committed to getting the doors open, that's a beautiful thing. Now, we've been talking about the services. It complements some of the shelters that exist already. Either one of you can step in and answer this question. How can the downtown community be best involved with the nonprofit, be best involved with ARC?
Some of it, I think, is staying aware of needs, but that typical welcoming, that is there anyway, to understand what's there. Be supportive, look for opportunities that are there. Understand that we're going to figure out some of the details as we go. Things are going to look a little bit different, but that we work together in the fashion that the city always has, in collaborating. Other ways, Meg, you can think that?
I think I had an office downtown for the last 3 decades. So
You've seen the ups and downs.
and I understand the fear of coming out of your office on a dark night and to the parking lot, and you see people huddled over there and being afraid. I'm a short 5-foot woman, and I kind of, if I see a big figure, I would be a little cautious at night in the dark. I get that. But I've never been able to have a phone number and of somebody who I could call and say,
great point,
I'm worried about this person. I have been used to a lot of homeless people. I counted from the location of this at least 6 different public housing type shelters within walking distance. And I never had a number that I could call and say, I'm worried about somebody who can come. So be able to do outreach. And I know that that is now set up with the new policing that has been put in place recently. Yay, city government for doing that. But to have a place that we can work together, or maybe you need some help with some cleanup, and say, what if I bought coffee cards for anybody in there during the day who could come around and just help me clean up all of the trash that's left over from a festival that weekend, or something like that. You could work together.
So there's opportunity for the downtown business community to come and be a part of the ARC process.
Yes.
Embrace it. We know that we have an unhoused issue that's at this time somewhat concentrated downtown, but again, as we know, Amanda has gone throughout the entire city, and we do have unhoused individuals throughout the entire city. But there's opportunity for collaboration for the downtown business community, as well as working with the ARC and some of the clients that may come through there. Patti, why do you think it's critically important, instead of having a governmental entity run ARC, that we're going to have a nonprofit? Why do you think that's important?
Well, one, it gives access to funds. Some foundations can't fund government activities. So it gives me a mechanism in order to step up and do something and to help a little bit more. It is part of the community because we benefit. Half the people who are homeless identify as having a disability. WindSwell, that's my mission.
Yeah.
I step up. Some foundations focus on economic development. Well, unmanaged homeless downtown doesn't continue the image of what we want to see happen in attracting businesses here. There is an intersect with virtually each one of us, and that's why we get a tax break. We have to meet our mission. So it is our responsibility to do this. And there are those intersects, whether they're spiritual, religious, educational, family structure, or for us, disability.
So we've learned a lot about services, the team that's been assembled to help get the doors open. Who's going to be responsible for hiring the executive director?
The board.
The board.
The board, and the board itself we're working on the size. I mean, by bylaws, we could have to 25. I think we probably would see it around much less than that. But there will be an appointment from the mayor, there'll be one from city council, and then the rest of it are talent pool needed to pull this off effectively.
Well, we have to get the building first before we can decide when we're going to hire an executive director, right? I've inserted
That would be
myself.
helpful.
I'm saying we. I've inserted myself into the moment. So as we begin to slowly wrap up today, I want you all, both of you, to think about one maybe subject that I didn't have the opportunity to ask you, but I just want to remind our viewing audience the vision statement for Anchor: a community where every individual is treated with dignity and has access to resources to help them pursue stable housing. And the mission: connecting people in Fort Wayne to the resources they need to build stability and move towards self-sufficiency. Meg, what would you like for your closing statement to be after being reminded of the vision?
We
and
worked
mission?
hard on those vision and mission statements. I think that is the vision. We'd love to see the community come together. Everyone would be welcome to find their home.
Oh, nice. Patti?
And each part of our community has some intersecting responsibility. There are school-age students. It's the impact at the schools. There are single moms. There are people fleeing abusive situations. There is a population that intersects with what each one of us cares about.
Very good. Patti, Meg, thank you for sitting down and talking with me today about a very critically important low barrier resource center that we need here in Fort Wayne. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for all the hours that you've been dedicating to this opportunity to help our unhoused. Thank you for tuning in this evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. If you have additional questions or want to ask questions related to ARC, you can go to the City of Fort Wayne's Engage page and put your questions there. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next month.